Hey Toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we are looking at my 1, 2, 3, third Ant-Man review in just under a week. If you had told me a year ago I'd be covering 3 Ant-Man reviews in a week's time, I would have told you were crazy. But I guess 2015 is full of surprises because here we have the Marvel Superhero Mashers Ant-Man figure released by Hasbro. Now, as you can obviously see here, this Ant-Man figure is actually based off the comic book look for Ant-Man and not the movie look that we just got in theaters. But I do find it interesting that with the armored shoulder plates here, this particular Ant-Man seems to resemble more of the Eric O'Grady Avengers version of Ant-Man than the actual Scott Lang or Hank Pym versions of Ant-Man that we've had in the comics. So as you all know, I'm a big fan of Mashers, and I can't wait to take a look at this Ant-Man. Let's get things started though by taking a look at the packaging for this figure. As you come down the front of this box, you do have a window box packaging that does have this Ant-Man figure inside as well as his accessories. You've got his name off to the right, Ant-Man, and then the logo for this series, Marvel Superhero Mashers, there towards the bottom. And as we flip this package around, you've got that Marvel Superhero Mashers logo there at the top. You've got an image in the center of Ant-Man mixed together with other Masher figures. And on the right-hand side, you do have a complete lineup of all the figures currently available in this wave. Alright guys, well that's the packaging. Let's say we get this figure out of the box and see what he's all about. And here we have Mashers Ant-Man out of the packaging, and on first inspection, I've got to say, this is probably one of my favorite Masher figures I've ever collected. Now, he's got some definite flaws, but I really like the look of this guy. Plus, I'm already a fan of Eric O'Grady Ant-Man, so that's got that going for me. But I really like this figure. As we take a look closer on this guy, you're going to see that he does have some paint here on the face and on his eyes. He's got a nice sculpted head here. I love the antenna and the way that they're coming off, and I like that they've sculpted the detail here in on the receiver for the helmet. Coming down the figure, you've got some black paint on the front, but they skipped that black paint on the back. You've got some solid silver paint here on the shoulders. Now, coming down the arm here, we do have that jagged pattern, and because of that, we have a blue hand here that's actually got red paint on top of it. And if you're looking at that and noticing that it looks like a fingerless glove, well, that's because it is. It's actually reused from the Hawkeye Masher that, strangely enough, wasn't painted to show the fingers either, but that was when the hand was originally created, so they've reused that for this Ant-Man figure. We even saw this hand on the Deadpool Masher. Coming down the figure here, you're going to see that he does have some silver paint here around the waist, and shockingly, they've continued that on the back, so very good on Hasbro there. And then we have some blue paint here for the trunks, which of course was continued onto the back there. Coming down the figure here, we also have blue feet that have some red paint at the top. Now in both cases with the arm and the leg, the paint isn't a perfect match, but it looks good enough from a distance that I'm not too concerned about it. But going off just the paintwork and the sculpting on this figure, I'm actually quite pleased. Accessory-wise, this Ant-Man Masher is actually surprisingly fun. He's got 2 of these ant accessories here. As you can see here, they do look very much in the Masher style of an ant. They've got a weird sort of handle coming off the end of them, so I don't know if they're intended to be ant guns or actual ants. I'm going to assume that they're just supposed to be ants with a handle on the end. But they've got some red paint on the eyes, which is nice. Hasbro didn't have to do that. And they have this hole on the back of it here, so you can actually take Masher accessories like, oh, let's say a pumpkin bomb, and you can have your little ant crawling along with a timed explosive on his back, which I think is great. Or if you want to, you can grab a Deadpool throwing star, or even go really crazy, let's go ahead and grab that laser beak reminiscent gun from the Soundwave Masher, and you can have just a fully armored ant marching along, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But on top of having that great port on the back of the ant's hand, or back of the ant's body, this handle here actually fits into the handle for Ant-Man, or into the hand for Ant-Man rather, and you can see he does hold it very nicely, or you can go ahead and take this and plug it into any of the ports on the figure's body. So really a great use of accessories. I think this is some of the best accessories we've seen in the Mashers line so far. A lot of fun. And now we move on to the dark part of this review, my friends, the dreaded articulation portion. This Masher figure does actually have nice head articulation. It'll bend down this far and back this far and rotate all the way around. But he's got that annoying single rotation shoulder that we've seen with the new Mashers coming out in 2015. This is of course different from previous Mashers we've seen with ball joints that rotate all the way around and bend out and up from the body. You're just not getting that sort of movement here with the Ant-Man figure. It just will not move out. So that's disappointing. He's got a forward rotation here at the elbow, and it does bend forward that far and back that far. He's got no ab crunch or waist rotation that's standard for Masher figures, but he does have a ball jointed hip that moves forward that far, moves back very far, out from the body pretty far, and then he's got a rotation here at the knee, and the knee bends down that far, and then he also has a rotation here at the hip that I forgot to mention that is ball jointed, but then his ankle of course does not have any articulation to bend forward, backward, or rotate in any way, much like we saw with the older Masher style figures. They do bend forward, bend back, and rotate left and right. This particular Ant-Man Masher, nothing. So we are getting a somewhat disappointing range of articulation on this Ant-Man Masher figure, I'm afraid to say. And if I were a betting man, I would say don't expect that articulation to come back unless Hasbro has a reason to use an older mold for a new figure. Alright, toy fans, so if you're not familiar with Masher figures and what they're all about, they are a toy line that's designed to allow you to remove your figure's pieces at the head joint, the elbow joint, the hip joint, and the knee joint, and mix them with other figures in the line. Let's go ahead and bring in Masher's Green Goblin and Masher's Soundwave and just scramble the pieces up. And after a quick cut, you can see that there is plenty you can do with this figure line to mix and match and create your own superhero, villain, or even transformer. And of course, the more figures from this line that you have, the more options you're going to have to mix and match and create your own custom-made superhero or villain. Height-wise, we can see that this Ant-Man Masher does measure right about 6.5 inches tall if we're going to the top of his antennae. For some size comparison, here we have Ant-Man once again compared to the Masher's Soundwave figure and the Masher's Green Goblin figure. Here he is compared to his comic book counterpart, the Black Ant, and the movie Ant-Man figure. And no spoilers in the comments, people, I have read all the Eric O'Grady Ant-Man comics. And finally, here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Hasbro jumped over to the third version of Ant-Man before I ever got a Weapon X Masher? You could probably blame Disney for that. Well, I sure as heck can't call out Hasbro on it. They like the X-Men. Just look at their catalog for 2016. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Superhero Mashers Ant-Man figure released by Hasbro in 2015. All joking against Hasbro aside, I really do like this figure. Yes, the articulation is disappointing, but he's got some excellent accessories, actually some really fun accessories, and I'm very surprised by him. And I do like that they went with the Eric O'Grady version of Ant-Man, a lesser known version of the character, when deciding to craft this figure. Overall, I'm really impressed, and this is definitely one of my favorite Mashers I've got in my collection to date. If you guys are a fan of the new Ant-Man movie or the Avengers, you definitely want to check this guy out. Well, thanks so much for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at D21Beast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.